is everyone? Are we awesome? I sincerely hope we're awesome. We're live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans of all shapes and sizes. I'm just, as you know, going over to this other screen. Not that I don't care about this screen, but I have to refresh to be fresh. All right, so the other screen because it's starting and I get to watch me looking rather, unusual as usual. All right, here we are. It is Thursday and there's something odd. Hang on, what the hell is that? Sorry. It's Thursday and the 11th of August, and so 12, 13, 14. Oh, Fanaticon is almost here, which is very cool. It's really quite lovely and wonderful, and I sincerely hope that those of you who are within, screaming and yelling and driving downhill distance are going to come and see me, because it's a pretty amazing time to be able to say, I've been doing this long enough to become respectable. I mean, really. They talk about 15 minutes of fame. So far, this is 40 years of fame, which is, I don't know if it's a record. It's probably not a record, right? It's not a record, but it's impressive. It's amazing, and I'm humbled by it and a little shocked. So that was my bright moment of recognition and wonder this morning. It's that we are still standing after all these years. And no, I'm not going to sing. We are here. We are still standing. We are doing what we do. The difference is we're changing it up. We're making it relevant, and we are honoring what was. It's a pretty cool kind of agenda to be having. So I'm going to put the light bulb down because I want to talk about, Why is she walking around with one yellow rubber glove? That's because the two are annoying. So what I want to talk to you about today is part of this journey of discovery that I am creating, that is part of the conversation that is unfolding. I'm just going to click this one thing one time, and then I will ignore it for the rest of the video. I'm just going to click this one thing. There we go. So the idea of talking about pivoting, the idea of talking about changing our direction and our focus and our vision is a bit of a challenge in one circumstance, in one situation. And the challenge is we kind of need to know where we are, where we're starting from. You need to know where you are, you need to know where you think you're going, and you need to know why, and you need to know how. And so, you know what I'm going to do, lovelies? I'm just going to quickly refresh this other screen because it looks like it got stuck. So hang on. I don't think I'm seeing anybody. So bear with me for just a second and see what it does. Okay, click. And our video. Why I want to talk about this, as I've said several times, is because if we don't know what we're doing, we feel like little kids again, who there's no instructions and I can't reach the counter and I don't know where my stuff is, and and we feel helpless. We feel frustrated. We feel unable. We feel unfairly ill-equipped, and that ruins everything. That drains all the joy out of everything. And I had this extraordinary thing happen to me when I was in my teens, and that was this horrific car accident that, by all rights, I probably shouldn't have survived. By all rights, I probably, well, I landed with a fair amount of force on my head, and usually that doesn't go well, doesn't end well. In my case, I know how, dodge that one, how easy it is, how sudden it is, and how irrevocable it is. I'm forever grateful for every new opportunity. Now, that doesn't mean that I have always been grateful. It means that every time I'm given a reminder of what could have happened, every time I get to look back at something recent that was not what I would have loved to have happen, I realize that, you know what? It's a step. It's a part of the process. It's a part of the learning curve. Learning curve isn't a hairpin. I don't know if you've ever driven on those roads where they banked them badly, and you like an on-ramp or an off-ramp on a highway, and they go on and on and on and on and on and on and on until you want to park the car and smack the guy who graded it badly. Because you lean so far in the car with the steering wheel that you're glad that the door is locked because you might fall out on the road. Sometimes life feels like that. And I've always believed that it feels like that because we didn't know going in what to expect. And we feel dumb, and we feel also scared that something bad could happen that didn't need to happen. What are they the product of, we say, when we're standing in line forever, when we're driving on that on or off ramp in that curve? Why is this happening? Why aren't they fixing the potholes? Why? Because it seems so obvious that this matters. The thing is, we don't have the big picture. We're only looking at it from our little tiny view of the world. So because I have had the privilege of discovering this, thanks to my military brat upbringing, I'm more aware of it than others. Thanks to my kind of fell backwards and sideways into show business choice, I have been the lucky recipient of an opportunity to realize what it means when people say, can you be more like this for the character we want you to play? Can you here I am. And most people, I'm discovering, don't get those incredible aha moments. They don't get that opportunity to realize the incredible talent we have to adapt, to adjust, to become flexible in the way we deliver our message to the world. And since we don't know those things, so many of us don't know those things, it is an easy mistake to make, to feel as though who we are isn't enough. And in order to qualify to belong, we need to find out how to fit in. We need to chase the dream. We need to chase the group that ever wronged, because that's not how it works. So that's what I want to talk to you about today, because this is really the key wake-up moment that defines every single thing we talk about in Pivotry and Motion. It actually, quietly, in our subconscious, defines every single thing that we need to be doing in order to feel like everything's right in our world. The trick is that our subconscious brain isn't listening, doesn't care, it's busy, it's got stuff. And even if it is listening, we can't tell because it's subconscious. It's not reaching out and saying, hi, here we are. It doesn't do that. It just carries on. And we have these two areas of conscious brain function that think they are in charge. The subconscious brain goes, yeah, okay, whatever, and keeps doing what it does. This is the serendipity. Hey, Mr. Garen. Woohoo, good to see you. At work but left alone. Good morning. So I'm just going to click on Garen's hello, so he knows, and you know. And I want to show you something remarkable, because there are signs that we are given all the time that we really do know this, that this is not a new lesson we have to go back to school and learn. Signs are there and we don't see them. No idea why. Probably because the sign is connected to the subconscious thing, and we're just not able to connect the dots unless somebody like me comes along and hits you with it. Look, so this is extraordinary, okay? I'm going to show you the cover of the business book that I published in 2006. 2006, that's a while ago. Ready? Here it is. Am I showing it right? Yes, I am. There it is. Okay. It's called Market Centrics. So I was talking about this in the business context, but do you see what I've created? My cover art that I was very specific about, I had to fight like hell with the publisher, which is why we parted ways eventually, for her to realize that my vision was that I wasn't dropping a stone in the ocean and making ripple waves. I was the magnet. My idea, my vision, my purpose is to draw the ocean to me, is to draw the people to me, is to draw the opportunity to me. One of my Facebook pals the other day said, what kind of fishing lure did Viking use? And I said, Vikings didn't use lures. We just kept the bait in the boat, and when the fish could see the barrels of bait, they would swim up to the boat and say, is that bait for sale? And the Vikings would say, well, yes it is, and we take Visa. And that's actually my screensaver on my computer. This fabulous cartoon boat with these fish chasing the boat, all of them with credit cards in their mouths. Our opportunity to make a difference, to be part of something in this world, is ours to own. It's not ours when we qualify. It's not ours when we pretzelize ourselves to fit into something other. And we make that mistake when we aren't shown why that's not the case. So I told people watching my video on Tuesday, this incredible story that just kind of unfolded for me when I was doing a book for a client, a memoir about his dad, and I interviewed a lot of people who had known him and worked with him. And this extraordinary thing kept happening, and that was these people would be telling me what it was. We used spears. Good heavens, Viking! Good heavens! Good morning! Well, how I am honored. I am honored that you have found time to join me. We have a Viking in our midst. So here's the thing that happened to me in this series of conversations with these interviews that I was doing for this book. I would ask someone how they knew the man, and they would say, "Oh, it all started in racing, or it all started in golf, or it all started in something." And I would say, "Do you have a first memory of, when you became, just totally focused? Your whole world was all cars all the time, all golf all the time." And this bizarre thing happened. They all told me that some event took place when they were between the ages of about 5 or 6 and maybe 8 or 9 years old. And it cemented for them, it planted this incredible seed. It woke something up in them. And they knew it. They knew it in the moment. They had this gobsmacking wow thing happen. Because they all told me that they could remember it clearly now. Then they were saying, "Gosh, I can remember it like it was yesterday. It was incredible. We were doing this, and then I just knew. I knew this was it." And I said, "Is that right? Is that right?" And so that the first time I was, really intrigued. But after I'd interviewed 8 or 10 people, and they all said the same thing, I thought, well, that's not an accident. That's not an accident. That's a thing. That is an evolutionary thing. I need to know more about this. So I spoke to a really good friend of mine, a client, a therapist who had asked me to help her with her book. And this is what I took away from our conversation, because she was using, the $64 words, and I'm pretty good with the $59.95 words. 64 is a bit of a push. What she basically told me was this: the first few months, weeks, years of our lives, the very first, we are being imprinted. We are learning how people like us do things. We are creating attachments. We are learning by imitation. We can't speak. That part of our brain is just developing. So when our parents say something to us, we make noises and they applaud us, and so we keep practicing as that brain develops. And then the first day we're able to say "cute shoes" or "Mama, Dada, cute shoes," is the day they say, "Oh my God, it's up!" And we become part of that tribe. People like us do things like this. And this is called in the psychology world an existential moment. It defines our existence. On a huge beach of a gazillion penguins, we are people like us. And we can always find people like us because there's no other people like us. That's profound. As time goes on, we leave our tribe, we leave our cave. We are sent out into the world to go to kindergarten, to go to daycare, to go to the store and pick up milk. I don't know. We are allowed to venture out into the world. And it is at this point, when we are venturing out and we are discovering other tribes with other ideas, we are learning that people like us aren't everybody, because there's people like them who do things like them, and that's nothing like us. Well, it might be a little bit, but not really. The first time I was old enough to go and for an overnight sleepover, when I came home, the next morning, or they picked me up or whatever it was, and my parents said, "So what was it like?" And I said, "They squeezed their toothpaste the wrong way." People like us don't do things like that. And I, for the first time, I saw the differentiator. And the story I told yesterday about my second aha, this aha that my friend Terry had when he got, for the first time, to co-drive his dad's 1953 Meteor. He and his dad sitting on the bench seat. And he was suddenly tall enough, his legs were suddenly long enough that he could actually reach the gas, and he could reach the steering wheel. And he said he was probably about 8 or 9 years old, and his dad said, "Okay, you and me, kid, against the world." And they drove this car together. And he said to me, it was the most incredible thing that had ever happened, because he was in the driver's seat with the most trusted, powerful human he knew. It was a completely brand new experience for him. And I said, "Is that when you first realized that you could drive, but what you really wanted to do was create a world where people drive together? You wanted to create a community." And the silence on the phone was incredible. He said, "Holy crap, Abby. Yeah, that is exactly what happened." So you see, the shift in his awareness, first he learned what people like us do, how people like us are different from everyone else. And then, when he was ready, he learned what people like me are all about. I'm still in my tribe, but I'm not a pretzel. I'm not a clone. I'm my own person. And people like me do it this way. Now, it happened to me. My dad was fearless. My dad would try all kinds of things. My dad was a natural athlete, which was remarkably annoying, because I am not a natural athlete. I'm not a natural singer either, but that's a whole other conversation. So any sport he picked up, he was almost immediately good at. As soon as somebody told him which end of the racket to hold, he was all over the place. The other thing that was annoying to the rest of the world, beyond like off the charts, is that he was completely ambidextrous, which means that he could play tennis with either hand and shift in mid-game, hit it this way and then hit it this way, and with equal success. Like he was a natural, no matter what. So, he created a lot of oohing and ahhing and a lot of, words that people aren't supposed to say. And so he became fearless. He would try things and fail. He was cleaning his gun one day before the rifle range, and he accidentally shot himself in the leg. I mean, nobody intentionally. So, the other thing was he didn't feel pain, physical pain, whatever that is. I don't know if that's a high or a low threshold, but he couldn't feel pain. So he was annoying if I had a headache or a stomach ache, because he would say, "Oh, you're just being dramatic." Anyway, when he shot himself, it didn't hurt. It was just really loud and sticky. So he hobbled over to the clinic, and they had to put him in a cast, and he had to have a crutch, and so he got time off. And this is during the later years of the Second World War, and he's walking around in his uniform with a crutch, and people were saying, "Oh, what a brave young man." My dad's saying, "Thank you." Because really, he's not going to stop people on the street and say, "No, I'm an idiot." Bang. Every single thing that he tried to do took him in a direction that made him say, "Huh, look at that." And he was never afraid of trying the next one and the next one and the next one. My mother, in a similar way, discovered that she could make clothes without using a pattern. She could cobble together furniture using bits and pieces of spare things without having any idea. She created a lot of things with all the wrong tools. I have often in my childhood seen my mother fix things with a nail file. When I would try it, nothing. So these were their gifts. Not a natural singer. I have proven it, Garen. Go buy a Care Bears album. And I think that these moments kind of go past us, even though we know they're happening, even though we know they're good at them, we're good at them. We don't give them the sing the praises that they deserve for a reason. It's effortless. It was effortless for my dad to stride boldly in and do things. It was effortless for my mom to do the same in her way. They didn't know that this was that thing. This was that aha that they do. Because the first time it happened, they just did it. It was anchored in their subconscious, and they paid no attention. So I discovered that I can effortlessly jump from voice to voice. I didn't know I could do it until somebody asked me, can you do this voice? What about that one? And I did. You know, I can sound like Mom. Well, hello, dear. Are you wearing clean underwear? And then I can sound like Eleanor Tweed, darling, without a blink. I can sound like Shirley Valentine, you know, without, giving it a second thought. It's dead stupid how easy it is. I can do that. I don't know how I do that. I just know that I can. Probably it's a result of all the moving. Probably it's a result of hearing all the different kinds of voices and accents and storing them away. Because it certainly, when I was a child, wasn't an intention to be an actor. So it was just that thing that I do. So I grew up in a family of three. My dad, my mom, and me. They were original types. They were boundary breakers. They were rebels with cause. They were nomads. They weren't chasing the horizon, they just wanted to know what was on the other side of it. My dad joined the military. That career gave him the opportunity to live that life. When he married my mother, it gave her the opportunity to live that life. And when I came along, it gave me the opportunity to live that life. So people like us did that. People like us were always staring at the first stepping stone on a new path. All the time. And when I discovered my Viking heritage, it made me laugh. It made me laugh really hard because it wasn't just my parents, clearly. It was my ancestry. It's my DNA. We want to see what's beyond the fjord. And by the way, I've got a boat. Who's with me? One of the reasons we want to see what's beyond the fjord is because the land is not that friendly in terms of growing crops. So I guess we better fish. I guess we better find something else to do. And we discovered a couple of things about ourselves as Vikings way back in the day. We built the best boats. We built the best boats for ocean travel. We came up with the best navigation tool ever. Essentially, it was the first GPS. We came up with a way to be distinctive, a way to cause the utmost damned astonishment with the least amount of effort. We put a serpent's head on the front of the boat. You imagine seeing that coming out of the mist back in the day when people were superstitious. Good, now that I have your attention. No need to introduce ourselves. No need for a trumpet or a bagpipe. Just swan in. Every single thing about my evolution has been about storytelling. I am someone who reinvents all the time because I come from a tribe of people who do the same thing. People like us reinvent our lives all the time. Okay, but what happened to me was I became a communicator. I was a storyteller. I still am. And I am telling stories about the new paths I find. I'm navigating my way the way my parents did, the way my ancestors did. And I'm sharing the lessons I learn. I'm wrapping them up in stories because that's the best way to retain them. That's my superpower. I create a ripple effect by telling you who you are. And you say, oh, Abby, tell me more. That's what happens to me. So one of the reasons that I've stayed that way, I haven't shifted, I haven't become someone who needed to fit in, was because there wasn't enough time to really cement it. There was never enough time to become one of them. And so I never did. I never tried. We would go someplace and I would be looking at the clothes, the styles that the girls were wearing, and I would think, who thought that was going to look good? And why are they all doing it? And what they were doing was fitting in. They were trying to be safe. They were trying to build a tribe. Again, here's the thing that's wrong with that. Here's the thing that is the most important thing I will ever say to you. We're not meant to fit in. We can't fit in, even if we wanted to, because each one of us is unique. Each one of us has a unique fingerprint. Each one of us has a unique DNA. Each one of us sees the world through 7 different sensory filters and a vast database of memories locked away in our subconscious that only ever happened to us. And all of those factors, all of those experiences, all of those memories, all of the way we instinctively lean in or lean away, make it impossible to lose ourselves and become someone else. It doesn't work. And when it doesn't work, it scares us to death and breaks our heart. And here's why. It scares us to death and breaks our heart because our subconscious brain believes that if we are not in the tribe, of the tribe, like the tribe, we will die. The subconscious brain is ancient. And when it was formed, that story was true. We had to band together. We had to stay safe together. We had to listen to the leader. Because outside this little cave that we were all huddled in, there were saber-toothed whatnots waiting for lunch. And lunch would be us if we got it wrong. If we weren't all together, all the same, hidden inside. The struggle we face is this. The subconscious brain does 90% of the work. The subconscious brain is the one that automatically responds to anything that comes along. It takes a little longer for the conscious brain to understand, to be aware, to say, what? Where? Holy cow. Meanwhile, the subconscious brain is just doing what it does. Pivotry in motion is a workbook. It's a set of instructions. It's a mirror. It's, as Gurn would have me say, the ultimate aha. It's meant to tell you there's nothing wrong with you. You're who you're meant to be. The trick is not fitting in. That's not what it's for. This tribal thing, this joining the group, this singing along. That's not what it's for. If we were all exactly the same, there would be no such thing as harmony. Think about that. If we all sang the same note the same way, no harmony, no layers, no texture. We would all be known as the Johnny One Notes. Isn't that interesting? So part of what I'm talking about in the book, and I actually posted an image that will be when I post the video today, and I always put a little visual, is two fingers putting a puzzle piece in place. And written on the puzzle piece is the word solution. And I want you to think about this. When you get a puzzle, when I get a puzzle, I say, oh, it's a puzzle, and I wait till nobody's looking and I throw it away, because I feel about puzzles the same way I feel about golf. One of us isn't meant to be in this room, I say to the golf club. I'm staying. Therefore, puzzles are just, you know. So here's the thing, though, about a puzzle. You get a puzzle. You open the box. You look at the cover of the box, and you open the box, and there's 11 billion pieces of things. Okay. When the puzzle is complete, when you put the last piece in the puzzle, you pick it up and you say, I hope this fits, and you reach over to put it in the puzzle. The puzzle is complete. Correct? The puzzle is complete. Why? Because we complete it. We are the solution to the incomplete puzzle. We bring closure. We are the cherry on the icing of the ta-da. We are not, oh, okay, so there's this extra, I don't know what we're going to do with it. I mean, you know, well, all right, it looks like you want to qualify. It looks like you, okay, can you shave this off? Can you cut that? Can I bend this? Okay, well, I don't know what we're going to do with you. You know what? Just tag along. We'll wait till you qualify, and then you can become, you know, a proven member of this puzzle. It doesn't work that way. The puzzle needs us. The tribe needs us. We bring that unique thing that we are. We bring the people like me ingredient to the tribal recipe. People like us are the tribe. We learn that shortly after we're born. We learn it every day, in every way. We learn that in our house, we squeeze the toothpaste this way. We learn that dad does this and mom does that, and sis and brother and aunt and uncle and cousin and pet that doesn't understand a thing we say. We learn that this is how we are. And then, for the first time, we go to someone else's house. We go to school, we go to daycare, we go accompany a parent to work day. And it's a whole new cave, and a whole new tribe, and a whole new bunch of people wearing the strangest things, saying the strangest things, doing the most interesting things. Huh. And the only reason we feel incomplete, the only reason we scramble to be like them, to comply, to fit in, is because we don't know who we are. We don't know what we bring. We haven't seen it yet. It's not visible. So when I put together the image that I'm going to include in the book, it's actually 4 squares. And in the top left, it's primary aha. And those are the beginning years when we discover who we are as a tribe. And that leads to knowing what is expected of us, knowing what we represent, knowing what people see when they look at us. Because that's who we are. That's what people see. This is the footprint we leave. The 3rd square over here, the bottom right, is that moment when we discover our unique contribution to the tribe. What we bring that no one else brings, the seed that is planted that makes our eyes open wide. That moment changes everything, because that's the nucleus, that's the nugget. But this is us. This is who we are. This is what we represent, what we bring, no matter where we go. We don't always bring our tribe with us. And I think that the world is probably grateful in many ways. Why did you bring Aunt Edith? She wouldn't stay in the car. So when we venture out into the world, we represent the newest, the latest, improved iteration of who we are, of who that top quadrant is. Oh, you must be a Viking. How can you tell? Because people like you do things like you. That's right. That's right. We do, and we are. So that's the 1st quadrant, the 2nd quadrant, and the 3rd quadrant. And the 4th quadrant that completes the puzzle, the 4th quadrant that completes this puzzle, is that taken together, these 3 things create our personal unique purpose, our reason we're here, what we're good at, what we're proud of, what we came here to share. Starts there, it transitions there, it comes into focus there, and it launches there. So is it 4 quadrants? Yes. 4 quadrants make a circle. It's a circle of life. Hakuna Matata. And when we never have any confusion. We know exactly who we are. We know exactly why we're here. We know exactly what we're good at. We can do other stuff. But we know as soon as we see those 4 quadrants come clear, that's part of what the Pivotry in Motion book is for. I want my tribe, I want my people, my community, my connectors and storytellers to see it, probably for the first time, because it's been abundantly clear forever back there, but back there doesn't talk. Back there just does whatever it wants. I'm bringing it into the front. I'm bringing it right here to the frontal cortex, the prefrontal cortex that says, oh, I see, so this goes with that, and then we do this. Got it. As soon as you know, you can't. Oh my gosh, I remember my moment. I remember my moment. Look at that. Every single thing I've done since then, it's all the same thing. It's all reiterations. It's all refreshes, resets, rebuilds, reboots of this thing that I do. I wrote Market Centrics. I was insistent that that's what the image had to be. The publisher thought I was crazy. I created a consulting company. I called it Now What Strategies. The person putting it together for me said, that's crazy, and yet it's brilliant. And I said, yeah, because now what is what we say when the thing we thought didn't happen. We can sit there, or we can say, now what? And get on with it. Because the wind is shifting. The tide is turning. We ain't got time for hanging around. That's my tribe influence, how I do it, with stories, with see me fall sideways through a door again. One of the reasons that's fun, one of the reasons it's important, one of the reasons it matters, as long as I don't hurt myself, is that it gives you an opportunity to see what fearless looks like. People are afraid to be fearless in case people laugh at them. I am fearless because I intend to have people laugh. I want to up the joy level. I want people remembering the fun they had. Do I do it to be laughed at? No, no. I do it to cause the utmost damned astonishment. I do it to have people say, oh my God, did you see what she did? Oh my God. I create that. What I'm doing on Sunday at Fanaticon, so cool. When it occurred to me yesterday, I thought, oh my God, I'm doing it again. So on Tuesday, during the video, I showed you the banner that I bought. It's actually a Care Bears shower curtain. And it's fabulous and magical and bright and crazy and wonderful. And all 3 of my original bears are on it, because of course. And I said, so that's going to be on one side of the booth, and then I've got the lockers on the other side of the booth. Look at my hands. I can't even. I have spatial. Does Abby have spatial reference problems? Yes, that's why Abby is not allowed to drive transport trucks. She can't figure out how to back up. So I have the carriers on one side, I have the banner, the lockers on the other, and I have the Abbey wall behind me. In 2018, when I was at Ottawa Comic Con, 2 security guards for the show came over to my booth. They'd stopped by on the Friday afternoon. They'd stopped by on Saturday, but Sunday, it's 3 days at Ottawa Comic Con. Sunday happened to be Mother's Day. And they showed up at my booth with a caricature of Friend Bear that they had paid one of the cartoonists at the event to create. And they had both signed it They had both autographed it, thanking me for being a memorable part of their childhood. And they brought it to me. And I burst into tears when I saw it. Why? Because that drawing and their decision to have it done, and it's a one of a kind, was based on the imprint, the impact that our show and my voices, my bears, had on them when they were little girls. They never forgot it. When they realized who I was at the booth, they couldn't believe it. They kept stopping by. And they just kind of stand there and say, "Hi, we're just on a break." And they just smile. And I would just smile back. And I'd say, and I'd use a voice, and they would laugh and go away waving. And sometimes they'd be walking by and they'd be waving. They were waving at their existential pivot moment when they were children. When they saw me, they saw their moment when they were 7 or 8. Every time they saw me, they saw themselves. And they had never realized it until they met me. And that's why they had the drawing done. Incredible. Incredible moment for them. Bigger for me, because I had no idea. I had no idea how impactful that ripple effect could really be. I had no clue. I know now. The following year, in 2019, at the first FanaticCon, Matt Urquhart, who is we are not worthy, who has done the fabulousness called this, whatever we call this, he and his lovely bride had a booth directly across the aisle from me. And at one point, there was a beckoning, and I was on my way to do a little tour around, and I wandered over, and they said, "Matt made this for you." And what he drew was not merely Friend Bear. It was Friend Bear wearing my orange feather boa. He did a caricature of a caricature and made it intrinsically me. And I didn't know what to say or do. I just stood there. Like I had no clue what to do. Because again, I had no idea what the ripple effect had until that moment when I saw the outcome, when I saw what it triggered in others. Okay, I still didn't see until all of a sudden I started writing about pivotry. And I saw the ripple effects of everything that has ever happened. So I guess what I wanted to say today in anticipation of FanaticCon is that our ripples rock the world. Who we are as we are, not as pretzels, trying to pretzel ourselves to fit in. Who we are is necessary, is essential to the recipe. Who we are as we are, unique, flawed, odd, we don't need to fit in. We provide the solution. So, what am I going to do to give everyone who comes to FanaticCon an opportunity to spread the ripples? I'm going to ask everyone to autograph the 40th anniversary Care Bears curtain. And when they do, I'm going to say thank you. Fan approved. And that way, their trajectory and mine will ripple through time. And my story will become their story with, additions. And they will tell their story and carry me with them. They would have no reason to tell my story if I was just like them. They would have no reason to say, you're not going to believe what happened, if what I do is nothing new. They would have no reason to say, oh my God, look at this, and show the picture of them on the step stool signing the toppest, most Care Bear on the curtain. It's a wall, 72 by something. It's amazing, and it's adorable, and it's gorgeous. And why I'm doing that is because life is not a spectacle. We are unique. We are flawed. We are broken. We are carrying with us baggage, and probably a lot of us looking for one of those storage lockers. I know I always have quarters in my pocket. We have this amazing opportunity to shake things up. The thing that's going to be very funny on the weekend is, I don't know if any of you have ever gone to these fan events, but people sell stuff, and celebrities welcome their adoring fans and pose for photographs and sign autographs. Yeah, I don't do that. I tried that. I didn't like it. I found it boring. Standing around on one leg. I'm not a flamingo. So what I do is this. Want to see cool stuff? Let me walk you through it. And we get to do all kinds of fun things at my booth that are totally different than any other booth you ever see. Because, why? It's interactive. Because you're in the boat with me. If you're not there, what the hell am I doing? If you're not there, it's an empty hall. It's a rehearsal. If you decide to come, if you set aside your priorities, you reach into your wallet, you put on your fancy pants, and you show up, why would I put a table between you and me? Why would I stand there like a window ornament? Why wouldn't I, with safe distances, all things, being equal, why wouldn't I say, come in, I have something for you. Let's talk about pivotry. How have you been? Why can't you and I be colleagues and friends? Why can't you and I say, yeah, and cross-pollinate our stories and make something uniquely wonderful? Why can't you and I look at the limitations that are all around us and say, yeah, well, I don't think so, and reinvent the concept? Why can't we? Who says we can't? Bring them to me. I'll have a chat. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Today is the day you discover that who we are only goes so far. Who we are shapes how we live until we find out who I am. And we and I can do anything. Guaranteed. No exceptions. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that amazing? And one last thing before I go, I want to tell you. This this thing. I was reading some psychology stuff to get the $64 word so I could use my $59.95 word. And someone was saying that fear is based on uncertainty. Uncertainty is based on an attachment problem. And I thought, yes, that's absolutely true. So here's what is going on in the world around us. Just so that you know. Just so that you can say, yes, but what about this? Imagine boats in a harbor, each one of them anchored. And when we want to go somewhere, we get in the little rowboat at the dock and we row out to the big boat. And we tie the little boat onto the big boat. And we get in the big boat and we weigh anchor and we sail away. Those are people who are okay. Those are people who know who they are, where they're going, and what they want to do. Now, picture that harbor. And there was a storm. And when the storm subsided, there were boats that had lost their anchors, had lost their moorings. And they were bobbing about. And when we wanted to go out to our boat, and we couldn't find it because it wasn't where we left it, we got in the little boat and we rowed out, and we looked for it, and there it was wobbling all over the place, or there it was with a hole in the hull lying on its side, or there it was locked up against another boat, completely destroyed. That's what people are feeling like. People are feeling as though they've lost their anchor. They've lost their rudder. They've been set adrift. It happened during a storm, when the winds were wild and the seas were high, and there was nothing they could do to fix it then. The storm has settled, the winds have died, and here they are. And they have no idea where they are or how to get back to where they wanted to be, where they felt safe inside. That's what the screaming is. That's what the angry voices are. That's what the yelling. That's what the lying. That's what the pushing and the shoving. That's what the behaving badly is all about. People feel they've lost their rudder. They've lost their anchor. They've lost their sense of who they are and who they're meant to be and where they're meant to be going. And they're terrified. And they should be. Because eventually there'll be another rising tide. And what we represent is safety to them. What we represent is an opportunity to reset, breathe, reboot, recharge, and start again. We can't calm them. That's not our job. Our job is to represent what is possible. Our job is to live our best lives and be an example of what best life living looks like, so that those people who are ready and willing can come closer and say, "Is that bait?" Why, yes, it is. And we take Visa. and we can show them where the stepping stones are. It's a great story. It's a great story. I should have told it earlier. Two men go fishing. One fellow says, I want to take you to my favorite lake. So they go out in the pickup truck with the fishing boat behind. And they get out of the boat, and they get out of the truck, and they get in the boat, and they row out to the middle. And they're sitting there for quite a while. And the guy whose boat and truck it is says, I forgot the beer and the sandwiches. I'll be right back. And the other guy says, do you want to? No, I'll be right back. And to the other guy's astonishment, the guy just steps out of the boat. Steps out of the boat. They're in the middle of the lake. Steps out of the boat. Walks across the water to the shore. The other guy in the boat gets to the shore, goes to the truck, gets the cooler with the sandwiches and the beer, walks back, boom, 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 across the water, gets in the boat. He says, I'd forget my head if it wasn't attached. And the other guy's sitting there, doesn't know what to say, so he says nothing. A little while later, sun is really hot. The guy says, sunscreen, bug repellent. My wife will kill me if I come back with a sunburn. And before the second guy can say anything, he hops out of the boat again, walks across the water, goes to the truck, gets the stuff, comes back. The second guy still doesn't know what to do, doesn't know what to say. They carry on through the day. And at one point, the first guy says, oh, damn. You know what I forgot in the boat? My phone. And the second guy says, no, I got this. I'll do it. And the first guy says, no. Second guy, no, I'm good. Steps out of the boat and disappears. Boosh. And guy in the boat shaking his head. Second guy finally comes up, spluttering, his hat all sideways. First guy leans over and says, would you like me to show you where the stepping stones are? And the reason I'm telling that story is this. When we are in our zone, when we are in the wow moment, that thing we do that makes it our game, that makes us the piece of the puzzle that solves everyone's problem. When we are doing that thing that we do, it's like we're walking on water. It's effortless. It's gravity-defying. Simple to us, jaw-dropping to everyone else. That's our wow zone. First we find out who we belong to. We get good at it. Then we find out what we do, what the magic is that we bring. And that becomes our life purpose. And that changes everything. Isn't that incredible? And now that you know it, you're going to be going, huh. So until I see you again, of course, I'm going to be going and doing Fanaticon, and all kinds of crazy, wonderful people will be there, and I have photographers capturing the moments, and hopefully all the good and the bad and the oh my God, I can't believe it moments, so that I can share them with you. I won't have the weaponry to broadcast anything from the booth, but maybe there may be people who come and say, hey, I'm going to put a video on Facebook. I don't know. I'm going to think good thoughts about that happening, so that it's something that, you know, is really fun to talk about. So in between now and the next time I see you, I wish all of you could come to Fanaticon. I think that would be incredible. Poor Lance, our showrunner, would say, what how? I think that would be amazing. At least you'll be able to see it and be there virtually with me when the pictures get posted. So in the meantime, think about your aha. Think about your wow zone. Think about that thing you do. And for God's sake, own it. You don't have to be a pretzel. No one does. You get to be you. And that's why I love you. Thank you for joining me. Tell your friends this is a good time. Tell your friends that I have this YouTube channel. I still only have 79 subscribers. They're the best, though. They're the best 79 subscribers on YouTube. I'd like a little more. Today is the 74th video that I've done since I began in November. And so you know what? It's becoming a thing. I mean, I even managed to start the video today without too many disasters. And for the first time, Mr. Colin, I had a Viking. So exciting. I got a Viking into my boat. Incredible. All right. Be good to you. You are just wonderful. Like, share, tell everybody, threaten them, whatever it is, browbeat. Subscribe, for God's sake. We'll never hear the end of it. And hug your loved ones. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.